Good evening, everyone. We do apologize. We are experiencing some technical difficulties here this evening, particularly with our live links. We do apologize for this, but we are going to move forward and make tonight's presentation as normal so that we do have a recording of it that can be posted online for access later. For those of you who are listening, who may be listening in, you will hear the same presentation you would have heard if we were not. But otherwise, again, we are experiencing technical difficulties, but we're going to work through it here so that we do have a recording of tonight's presentation. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. We are here tonight to present DOT State Project number 34-324, which covers intersection and drainage improvements on Route 53, which is South Street and Triangle Street and Coal Pit Hill Road in the city of Danbury. This is the design public information meeting here. My name is Brett Stark. I'm a liaison engineer with the consultant firm of BL Companies. We are here to assist and facilitate and serve as essentially a little bit of a master of ceremonies for tonight's presentation. Again, we do apologize for these technical difficulties, but we are going to continue to move forward. There are multiple ways to participate in tonight's presentation. And again, notwithstanding our technical difficulties, we do have options for those of you who may be watching this after the fact, so you can still participate and share your feedback with us. There are three ways. The first is by email, and you can email the DOT project team at the project email address, which is DOTPROJECT34-324@ct.gov. Again, that's DOT Project 34-324@ct.gov. All one big thing with no spaces or underscores, except for the dash between the 34 and the 324. You can also leave some feedback via phone by calling 860-944-1111. We do ask that if you elect to leave a voicemail that you please reference Project 34-324 in your message so we know that that it's pertinent to this. Again, and if you're participating in the Microsoft Teams Live, you can participate in the live Q&A session, which is available here. We'll provide some more feedback on that in a moment. Again, this presentation and all the project-related information is available at our project webpage, which is at https://POR.TAL.CT.gov/DOT-DAN-BURY-34-324. Again, that project webpage is portal.ct.gov/DOT-Danbury-34-324. The comment period for tonight's presentation is open until July 5th, 2022. And again, the MS Teams live chat is only available during the live event. We do wish to remind you that no person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. You know, this is part of the DOT's and the federal Title VI regulations. There is a notice available here. We have a link to that we will post in the Q&A session. Also, we do ask that you please consider filling out and participating in our post-meeting survey. Again, that is available on the project webpage, which is again available at https://portal-ct.gov/DOT-Danbury-34-324. And again, we will post this link to the survey in the chat session tonight as well. Following tonight's presentation, a recording of the formal presentation will be posted to YouTube after the live event. Closed captioning, including non-English translation options, will be available at that time. Again, before getting into the meat of the presentation in the agenda here, I am going to again just repeat that for those of you who may be joining on the listen-only line, We are experiencing some technical difficulties with our live links this evening, but we are going to make the presentation as planned to create this recording so that it will be available for future use and access via the project website. So tonight's presentation here, we're going to begin with some team introductions and then move into a discussion of the project location, the project history. We're going to talk about traffic operations, how we're going to seek to improve some drainage out there, the maintenance and protection of traffic, so what we're going to do to handle traffic during construction. We're going to hear from a member of DOT's right-of-way team to discuss how we're going to deal with some private property impacts here. We're going to discuss the environmental impacts and permitting required. Then we're going to get into finally a discussion on construction cost schedule and funding before we move into some questions. Again, the question and answer session, we will recap the information on how to participate in the questions again at the end of the presentation. Tonight's presentation should last between 20 to 30 minutes. So I'm going to introduce the project team here. This project is being developed under the supervision of DOT's Division of Highway Design. Attending here tonight is Mike Cherpak. He's the DOT Principal Engineer for the Division of Highway Design Local Roads Unit. Brian Natwick is the DOT's Project Manager. Michelle Saldana is the Project Engineer. Matt Genikopoulos is the DOT's Right-of-Way Coordinator. We also have with us this evening from the design firm, design consultant that's doing the actual design for this project, Al Bisacki and Neil Kulikowskis, who are with Kleinfelder. Again, Kleinfelder is the design consultant for the project. Before we begin, before I turn it over to Al for the formal presentation, I'm going to read a letter of support for the project that Danbury Mayor Esposito has provided to the department. And I'm just going to read this in for the record. As mayor of the city of Danbury, I am thrilled to support the state of Connecticut Department of Transportation's project to improve the intersection and drainage on Route 53 at Triangle Street. I am excited that the state is advancing the design and soliciting public input for this important project for Danbury. This project has been in development for over 10 years and will help us address traffic operations, safety issues, and major drainage concerns along the corridor. The goal of this project includes relieving congestion to improve traffic flow, addressing inadequate sightlines at Triangle Street and South Street, and reducing the high rate of traffic accidents. The update will also provide safe pedestrian movement along South Street, Coal Pit Hill Road, and Triangle Street with full ADA compliant crosswalks. In 2009, the state recognized and incorporated design elements to this project to eliminate major drainage and flooding issues which affect many businesses and property owners in this corridor. The city of Danbury wants to thank the state for recognizing these needs and issues and for moving this project forward. I appreciate you holding the public information meeting early in the design process and soliciting input from the public. Sincerely, Mayor Dean Esposito, City of Danbury. And with that, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Al Bisacki, again from Kleinfelder. He's the design project manager here today. Al?
Thank you, Brett. As was noted, this project is early in the design phase, although it has been going on for quite some time. The early design considered alternative designs, and traffic analyses were completed on those alternative designs. Once a preferred alternative was selected, preliminary engineering and design was completed, and there was several meetings with city officials along the way, and we also solicited input, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few moments. So as an overview, this project is located on the east side of the city, as can be shown on the map on the left-hand side. It involves several streets and intersections, and in the following slides, I'll describe the location in more detail and the proposed work. The project starts at on South Street, or Route 53, at the intersection of Town Hill Road. Moving west, it includes the intersection at Triangle Street and Coal Pit Hill Road. Then drainage work only continues down South Street to the intersection of Shelter Rock Road. There's additional drainage being done south of Shelter Rock Road. And then a major drainage outlet trunk line runs down Shelter Rock Road, down Lee Mack Avenue, and discharges at the Still River. Originally, this project was initiated as a safety improvement project. The city of Danbury, working with the Housatonic Valley Council of Elected Officials, or HEVCO, which is now termed the Western Connecticut Council of Governments. Originally, HEVCO submitted a proposal for the project to be developed. DOT, in coordination with the city, developed conceptual plans which received the endorsement of the city and HEVCO. Project design originally began in October of 2006. In 2008, the intersection improvements design received approval from DOT. A public information meeting similar to this one was held in 2008. As a result of that public information meeting and further discussions with the city, additional drainage and flooding concerns were identified in 2009. In 2014, the scope for the project was expanded to include drainage along the entire route of the project, beginning at the intersection of Triangle Street and South Street, and a large diameter trunk line extending all the way to the Still River. In 2017, the preliminary design was updated to include that drainage work. At that time, project was suspended for several years, and recently minor changes were made to the intersection lane arrangements at the Triangle Street Coal Pit Hill Road intersection. That brings us to today, where we're presenting the revised design in this public information meeting. So there's several purpose and need statements that drive and our goals for this project. The first revolves around traffic operations and pedestrian safety. There is congestion at the intersections and poor traffic flow, primarily because the lanes are offset. There's lack of turning lanes, rather, and the intersections are offset from each other. There are inadequate sight lines at Triangle Street to South Street. There's a high rate of traffic accidents, many of which are rear-end collisions. Some of these accidents have resulted in personal injury. There are no crosswalks at South Street near Coal Pit Hill Road. And what crosswalks do exist within the project area are not ADA compliant. So here's a map that shows what I just described. There's a lack of turning lanes at the intersections. The intersection of Coal Pit Hill Road and Coal Pit Hill Road Extension and Triangle Street are offset from each other. There are no crosswalks at the across South Street or Route 53. And the crosswalks that do exist are not ADA compliant. This graphic shows vehicle crash information from the years 2019 to 2020. Overall, at the three intersections, those being at Town Hill Road, at Triangle Street, and at Coal Pit Hill Road, there have been a total of 27 crashes in the last 3 years. 2 of these crashes have resulted in personal injuries. The type of crashes include rear-end collisions and sideswipe collisions. and the split between those two types of collisions is about 50-50. Additionally, the distribution of where the crashes occur is about equal between the three intersections of Town Hill Road, Triangle Street, and Colpit Hill Road. The proposed intersection improvements include an upgraded traffic signal at Town Hill Road, an additional left lane approaching Colpit Hill Road so that traffic can turn safely onto Triangle Street, a replaced traffic signal at Colpit Hill Road, a realignment of Triangle Street with Route 53 to take advantage of the installation of the new traffic signal and improve safety, and upgrading pedestrian crossings and sidewalks throughout the project area in the vicinity of this intersection from Town Hill Road to Colpit Hill Road. With regard to the new traffic signals, the project goal is to make safety improvements without degrading or reducing what's called the level of service at the intersections. And very briefly, level of service is a measure of the delay experienced at an intersection, with A being good and F being poor. By way of reference, level A is considered when the delay to start moving when the light turns green of less than 10 seconds. A level C, when the light turns green, you have a delay of between 20 and 35 seconds. Level F is when there's over 80 seconds of delay after the light turns green. So looking at the two traffic signals, under existing conditions, or when the project is complete, I should say, the level of service at Town Hill Road is expected to be a level of service B. In the year 2040, that will reduce slightly to a level of service C. At the Colpit Hill Road intersection, when complete, level of service in the morning is expected to be C, and that remains level of C in the year 2040. In the afternoon, the level of service changes are about the same. At Town Hill Road, after construction is complete, we expect it to be a level of service C. In the year 2040, a level of service D is expected. At Colpit Hill Road, we maintain a level of service C when complete and in the future. And I would like to say that without traffic signal installations and without these improvements being done, we would expect the level of service to degrade further than level of service C and D at the intersections in the year 2040. The goal of this project, after all, is to improve safety without significantly impacting traffic operations, and this design will meet that goal. The second purpose and need for the project, as was added on after the original public information meeting, is to improve drainage. There's no drainage system at all at the intersection of Triangle Street, Colpit Hill Road, and South Street. There's poor drainage along South Street near Shelter Rock Road. There is no drainage system in Shelter Rock Road. There's no drainage system, or inadequate drainage system rather, in Leamack Avenue. And I've got some photos that were taken during one or more storm events. And these are primarily in the area of Lee Mack Avenue. And you can see 4 different locations with similar flooding. So the flooding in Lee Mack Avenue is widespread during large storm events. This slide shows the overall drainage improvements throughout the entire project, and those proposed drainage is shown in the dark blue line. So beginning at Triangle Street, we are planning catch basins at the intersections, and I'll show that in a little bit more detail on the next slide. A trunk line will run down South Street with catch basins on both sides of the road. At an existing cross culvert, at a low point, there'll be additional catch basins. The trunk line will continue down Shelter Rock Road, then down Lee Mack Avenue, and will discharge at the Still River. Additionally, south of Shelter Rock Road on South Street, we'll install catch basins as far as is practical to improve drainage along that road. At the Triangle Street, Coal Pit Hill Road, there are a number of new catch basins, and those catch basins extend past the intersections down Coal Pit Hill Road as far as we could practically go, and up Triangle Street again as far as we could practically go. The purpose of these catch basins is to reduce flooding and to increase safety for vehicles and pedestrians alike. Construction of all this work is expected to occur in 3 distinct stages. The first stage begins at the outlet of the Still River. The second stage continues along South Street, and the third stage is at the intersection of Coal Pit Hill Road and Triangle Street. And I'll describe that in a little bit more detail for each of the stages. Under the first stage, when the main trunk line is constructed from the Still River upstream in Lee Mack Avenue, because of the size of the pipe that needs to be installed and the amount of utilities in the roadway, existing utilities, we expect that we'll need one-way traffic on Lee Mack Avenue in the north direction, and traffic in the southerly direction on Lee Mack Avenue will be detoured onto Triangle Street, then to Star Street, then back onto Route 53. We will provide access to all businesses and properties along Lee Mack Avenue and for all of the roads on the intersection at all times. Again, the reason for the restriction of one-way traffic on Lee Mack Avenue is because of the size of the pipe that's needed. And we do, of course, recognize that the Department of Motor Vehicle is on Lee Mack Avenue, and access to the DMV will be maintained at all times. In stage 2, that trunk line, which starts to get a little bit smaller as it moves upstream, will be installed along Route 53 or South Street. For this section of work, we expect that we will have alternating one-way traffic around the construction zone as it advances from east to west up Route 53. This one-way traffic flow will be maintained either by temporary traffic signals or traffic persons. Once again, we will maintain driveway access to all properties at all times. In the evening, We expect that the trench will be restored, covered with trench plates, and two-way traffic will resume for the nighttime hours. So there will be alternating one-way traffic during work hours only. In stage 3, the work will continue around the intersection of Triangle Street and Colpit Hill Road, then to Town Hill Road with the new traffic signal. We expect that there'll be individual lane closures as the drainage is installed, as the signals are installed, and as the crosswalks are installed. And once again, we will maintain daytime access for all properties. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Matthew so he can discuss the right-of-way process.
Thanks, Al. I'm Matt Giannakopoulos. I'm a project coordinator with the Department's Division of Rights-of-Way. It is our office's responsibility to acquire all the property rights that are needed for transportation projects. We anticipate that this project will require the acquisition of some property rights, so I'd just like to give a brief overview of our right-of-way acquisition process. We're still early on in the design process, so we don't have specific details on the property rights that will be required, but we anticipate the need for some strip or sliver acquisitions along the frontage of properties adjacent to the roadway, as well as some easements or drainage rights of ways for the reconstructed drainage. But we do not anticipate impacting any homes, businesses, and no total takes of any properties are proposed. Any property rights that end up being required will be acquired in accordance with the Connecticut General Statutes sections 13A-73 and 13A-98E. And whenever there is federal money used in any phase of a project, the department must adhere to what is known as the Uniform Act. You can go to the next slide. Any property right, or once the design is moved to the point where we're ready to begin the right-of-way acquisition process, each property owner will receive a letter of intent to acquire from our office along with a property map which depicts the exact rights to be acquired. At that point, we determine the fair market value of those rights, and we use that value to establish an offer of just compensation. That offer is then sent out to the property owner in writing, and a right-of-way agent is available to meet with the property owner. They can explain the project, the specific impacts to the owner's property, as well as explain how the state developed their offer. Property owner would have a reasonable time to consider the offer and enter into negotiations if they so choose. Once an agreement is reached, the DOT prepares all the necessary paperwork to transfer those property rights, and they file a deed and the property map on the town land records. However, if negotiations reach an impasse, in order to keep everything on schedule and allow the project to move forward, the department may acquire those rights through its power of eminent domain. What happens in that case is the state files a notice in the local superior court along with a monetary deposit in the amount of the state's offer of just compensation. The property owner would have 6 months from that date to file for an appeal if they felt that the offer was inadequate. Now, whether or not the property owner chooses to use their right to appeal, the money that was deposited in the court is available to be withdrawn by the owner at any time. So I know a lot of people, they hear eminent domain, they think, oh, the state just takes my house for $1. But that's not the case. All property owners are entitled to at least that original offer of just compensation, and the state only takes title to the property rights that they need for the project. I'll be here after the presentation and going forward to answer any questions on the right-of-way acquisition process. But in the meantime, I'm going to hand it back to Al to conclude the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Matthew. So the final couple of slides revolve around environmental review and then cost and schedule. So the preliminary engineering work that we did included some work on permits to determine what the impacts of the project are and what the permit needs are. We have determined that there are no endangered species within the work areas and that there will be no effect on historic properties. The primary permit that we do need is a stormwater discharge permit for construction of the outlet to the Still River. So our current schedule is that design will continue beginning this summer at the conclusion of this public information meeting and the follow-up work that needs to be done after that. The work will continue, the design work will continue through the fall and winter, and we expect it to be complete by June of the year 2023. This will allow us to advertise for construction contractors in the summer of 2023. That will allow a construction start in the spring of 2024. We expect that the construction duration will be 1.5 to 2 years. It is a very long project along a long route with large drainage pipe, and we want to maintain safe traffic during that all that construction period, and that does contribute somewhat to the long construction duration. The estimated construction cost is $12 to $16 million. There's 80% federal funding for this project and 20% state funding. There is no city funding required for this project. Now, Brett has got some slides to go through and an explanation of how you can ask questions.
Good evening again, Al. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you, Al. Again, my name is Brett Stark. I work for the consultant firm of BL Companies. Again, I'm here to serve as the master of ceremonies for the question and answer. I do want to begin again by first apologizing for the technical difficulties that we are experiencing on our end this evening with our live links. We recognize that that is limiting the ability for some participation here, but we do want to reiterate that the purpose of this meeting and the purpose of making this recording, as we are doing here, is to solicit and hear from interested and affected parties here. So there are multiple ways that you can reach the department here after tonight's presentation or going forward here. The easiest and most direct way to reach us would be via email to the project email address, which is dotproject34-324-ct.gov. Again, that's dotproject34-324-ct.gov. You can also call the voicemail line, leave a message. That number is 860-944-1111. If you do leave a message, we do ask that you please try to remember to note that this is in regards to project 34-324. And again, while we are experiencing some technical difficulties, if some people happen to be on the live Teams event, you can ask questions using the live Q&A, which I'll talk about more again in a second. I do want to again reiterate here that the project webpage is available where you can be able to watch the recording of this presentation, and the links to the email, the telephone, the projects, the survey that I mentioned earlier are all there. That web page is available at https://portal.ct.gov/DOT Danbury 34-324. Again, that's portal.ct.gov/DOT-34-324. The comment period is open through July 5th. And again, we just ask, please, again, we will be available. The DOT project team will be available to review and respond to any questions or emails or calls here. Again, we do acknowledge the technical difficulties we are experiencing, and we do want to hear from you, and we do want to work with you to address your comments. Once again, here I mentioned the email address, dotproject34-324@ct.gov. And I am going to just spell it here again for you. That's DOTPROJECT 34-324 at ct.gov. And the phone number again is 860-944-1111. Please call, leave a message. If you wish to have someone from the department contact you, please provide your contact information either by phone or email. Let us know the preferred way to reach you, and someone from the project team will get in touch with you. Again, we do apologize for tonight's technical difficulties, but we are here to listen and work with you. The comment period is open through July 5th. Again, but we will be listening and responding to any feedback received even after that date. Okay, we do have a question here. The first question it's coming in through one of our sources here. It's asking, how long will the traffic be detoured? Mike Chirpak, I believe you're going to handle that. Oh, my apologies here. Again, we have a question regarding how long traffic will be detoured. Al Basaki, are you able to answer that question?
Sure, I can answer. So the work on Lemack Avenue is probably going to be the most difficult work because of the size of the pipe and the amount of utilities. We will detour for the shortest amount possible. We will, during design, determine what that length will be, and we'll probably put some limitations around the contractor's activities around that. So I don't have an exact duration for the detour, but we are cognizant that the detour will impact the traveling public, and we will reduce that to the extent that we can.
Okay, thank you, Al. Again, we do appreciate people working through us. We have been experiencing some technical difficulties here this evening. It appears some of these links are live now at this time. If you are just able to join us, we do appreciate you tuning in. We do apologize again for technical difficulties. We have made our presentation. We're continuing to take questions at this time. We're happy to listen and provide any feedback. There are multiple ways for you to ask questions at this time. If you are joining us live, the live Q&A session should be open and available to you here. We also have our project email, dotproject34-324 at ct.gov, and our voicemail line, 860-944-1111. Again, please reference DOT Project 34-324 when leaving a message. Again, we have been experiencing technical difficulties, but we are willing to make ourselves and our project team available to respond to any questions we do receive. And we thank you for bearing with us through these technical difficulties this evening. Okay, again, please, if you're listening in here on the call-in number, we are able and willing to accept any feedback you may have. Again, you can reach us through the project email, dotproject34-324 at ct.gov. And we also have the phone line again, 860-944-1111. We do apologize for the technical difficulties we have been experiencing, but we do have another question coming in. I think this one's going to Al as well. The question asked is, when will construction start and how long will construction be? Al?
Yeah, good question. So our current projection is that construction will start in the spring of 2024, just as soon as the construction season starts after the winter season. We expect that it will take a year and a half to 2 years, so construction will continue through 2024. It'll be paused for the winter months at the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025, and we expect that construction will be completed sometime during 2025. Optimistically, it would be summer. It may turn into the fall before all construction is completed, however. So starting in spring of 2024 and concluding in 2025.
Thank you, Al, for that answer. Again, here, I just do want to reiterate again, we have experienced some technical difficulties here with tonight's presentation, particularly using the live links. But we are continuing to move forward with this presentation so that we have a recording available of it, and the department will respond to any feedback received. We encourage you to please submit an email to the project email address, dotproject34-324@ct.gov, or reach us by phone at 860-944-1111, and please leave a voicemail. Again, in recognition of the technical difficulties we have experienced this evening, we're happy to reach out and contact you. Please provide the best means for reaching out to you. I'd like to encourage you also to please consider taking our post-meeting survey. This will help the department to enhance its public involvement processes. We have posted a link to that survey in the meeting, the Q&A session. And that meeting, that's also available at the project website, which can be reached at https://portal.ct.gov/dot Danbury 34-324. Once again, that's https://portal.ct.gov/DOT-Danbury 34-324. Looks like we have another question that's come in here. Al, I think this one's going to go to you again.
Okay.
Will driveway access be maintained during construction?
Yes, driveway access will be maintained for all properties, whether they're residential or business during construction. That will be a requirement, an absolute requirement of the contractor. Now, bear in mind that there may be some times where it may not be a perfectly paved driveway, but it will be passable. It will be accessible for any emergency vehicles that might be needed to enter any of the properties. That is an absolute requirement. So yes, we will maintain access to all properties throughout construction.
Thank you, Al. Again, we do apologize for the technical difficulties here we are experiencing this evening, but we are looking to receiving feedback from the public on this project. We can be reached at email dot-34-324@ct.gov or via phone 860-944-1111. Again, given the technical difficulties we have experienced, we will make every effort to reach out, and if required or requested, we can work with any interested parties to provide any information that you may have missed as given the technical difficulties with tonight's presentation. Following within a few days, the video of this presentation will be posted to the project website at https://portal.ct.gov/DOT Danbury 34-324. From that webpage, you can watch the presentation, recording of the presentation, and then please feel free to call the voicemail number or send an email with any questions you may have, and department project staff will make every effort to respond to you in a timely manner. Okay. Again, we thank you for bearing with us tonight during these technical difficulties. We do have another question here That question is for Matt Giannakopoulos from DOT Right of Way. And the question is, what is the process if I disagree with the appraisal of my property? Matt?
I'll mute
Matt's
myself.
like-
Yep. Yep.
Thank you.
If you disagree with the appraisal of your property and, then the state's offer, the first thing I would recommend is to explain why you disagree to the acquisition agent, the negotiator, present any sort of market data or backup to why you feel the offer is inadequate. And if you're still not able to reach a satisfactory settlement with the department, then you always have the right to allow the state to acquire what they need through eminent domain and then appeal in court for more money and let the court decide. But I always recommend people, if they're not satisfied with the offer, that they do some research and present some data that could justify a more agreeable offer. Thanks.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate your input there on that question. Again, we are experiencing some technical difficulties here this evening, and we do appreciate the time for those who have elected to participate and listen in here this evening, and to send in your questions. We do have, again, multiple ways for you to do that. The phone number is 860-944-1111. Please feel free to leave a voicemail referencing project 34-324, or please send an email to dotproject34-324@ct.gov. Again, we do appreciate everyone bearing with us here during these technical difficulties tonight. And again, please feel free to visit our project webpage at portal.ct.gov/DOT Danbury 34-324. From there, you'll be able to access the recording of this presentation. You'll have links to the telephone numbers and email addresses so you can submit any feedback you wish to share with the department. And again, department representatives will make every effort to reach out to you in an expedited manner here. Okay. Just checking to see if we have any comments or questions coming in. Bear with us one moment, please. Thank you. It appears we do have another question here. This one's going to be for Al from Kleinfelder. Are any bicycle routes planned within the project limits? Al?
Yeah, thanks. That is a good question, and it's a tough one. The improvements are limited to primarily the intersection work necessary to improve the safety of the intersection at Coalpit Hill Road and Triangle Street. There are the traffic signals, as I mentioned, and new ADA compliant crosswalks and sidewalks in that area. There are not, however, planned dedicated bicycle paths. And the primary reason for that is because the width of South Street and the properties along South Street there's not enough width currently on South Street to have a dedicated bicycle lane. And the properties are very close to the street right-of-way line, so extending and expanding the roadway through that area would have a lot of impact to those properties potentially. I do want to, however, point out that there has been some recent changes in state law regarding the room that and the respect that motor vehicles are required and should give to bicycle riders. A minimum of 3 feet is required passing bicycles. Bicycles can take up an entire vehicle travel lane when there is no dedicated bicycle lane. So while we are not able to increase the width of South Street to accommodate a dedicated bicycle lanes, there are changes in state law that do make bicycle riding safer for bicyclists.
Thank you, Al. Again, thank you again for bearing with us during these technical difficulties tonight. Please feel free to submit your questions here. You can reach us again if you're on the Microsoft Teams live event. We do recognize that the link did not open up in a timely manner consistent with the start of the presentation, but if you are on now and you're able to ask a question, you can do so by clicking on the question mark button to open the Q&A session, and then using the field below at the bottom to type your question in and then submit it. Please feel free to submit anonymously if you feel so concerned to. If you would like someone from the department to contact you, again, given the technical difficulties we have experienced this evening, please feel free to provide your contact information, and someone from the project team will reach out to you. Also, if you're not able to access the Microsoft Teams live session, if you're joining us through YouTube or through the listen only line, we do have other ways for us to be reached here. Again, we have the project email, dotproject34-324@ct.gov. And we also have the phone number again here. The phone number is 860-944-1111. Please feel free to leave a voicemail. And again, we do appreciate you bearing with us through these technical difficulties this evening. Representative from the department will make themselves available to you if needed. We are, I think we do want to just go back here, being that we are live now, and maybe go back and re-highlight a couple elements of the presentation that you might have missed here earlier. Al, are you able to just rediscuss the construction sequencing again for anyone who's joining late?
Sure, I could do that. So stage one is for the construction of the drainage along Lee Mack Avenue. And that construction starts at the Still River. Thank you. It starts at the Still River at the outlet and will proceed in a southerly direction along Lee Mack Avenue. Because of the size of the drainage pipes and the amount of utilities that are in Lee Mack Avenue, the excavation will be fairly large to install that pipeline. Recovering, covering or plating over that excavation every night will be very difficult. It will be time consuming, and it will significantly slow the overall progress of construction. However, Lee Mack Avenue is wide enough so that we can maintain a single lane of traffic through the construction zone, and the construction zone will move in increments down Lee Mack Avenue from north to south. So vehicles will be able to get around the construction zone, but overall traffic on Lee Mack will be limited to a northbound direction only. Traffic on Triangle Street crossing the Still River Bridge and approaching Lee Mack Avenue will be detoured down Triangle Street, and then down Star Street, and then to Route 53, where they can continue traveling either east or west to their destination from that point. So to recap, during construction of the large trunk line down Lee Mack Avenue, traffic will be restricted to one way in the northbound direction. Southbound traffic will be detoured onto Triangle Street, then onto Star Street. Brett, if you want to just go to the next slide, I'll describe stage 2 of maintenance protection of traffic. So this includes the construction work along South Street and Shelter Rock Road, for that matter. And again, this is for construction of the main trunk line and the associated drainage along that trunk line. In this case, along this stage 2 of the route, we will provide alternating one-way travel past the work zone, which again will be in a fairly limited area as the pipe installation progresses from east to west. That one-way traffic flow will be maintained either with temporary traffic signals or with traffic persons. We should be able to, when construction is not occurring during the night, because it's daytime construction only for this work, the roadway, the trench will be plated over and two-way traffic flow will be resuming for non-construction work hours. For stage 3, the work primarily around the intersections of Triangle Street, Coal Pit Hill Road, and Town Hill Road that involves the traffic signals, new span poles for the traffic signals, some minor realignment and of the Triangle Street portion of the roadway, construction of new crosswalks and sidewalks along the roadway. All of that work will occur with lane closures only as work proceeds on the side of the road and adjacent to the road. The drainage installation, the drainage system installation will also occur with single lane only closures. There may be some times when one-way traffic needs to be directed through during particularly critical times when that drainage system is installed. But again, there may be a detour on Triangle Street at the Coal Pit Hill Road extension, but that'll be a very short detour just around that immediate work zone. It's not a longer detour such as we will have with the stage 1 construction. So hopefully that's a thorough explanation of our expected maintenance protection of traffic schemes.
Thank you for that, Al. Okay. Again, we'll just give a few more moments here to see if we receive any additional feedback. Again, I do want to just reiterate that there are a few ways that you're able to contact us this evening here. And even after this evening, I should stress again, we do appreciate and apologize for the technical difficulties we have experienced here tonight, and we appreciate you bearing with us and sticking with us through these difficulties. So again, after the conclusion of this presentation here, there are 2 ways to contact the department. They are both listed here on the screen. Again, I've said it before and I'll just reiterate it. The project email address, dotproject34-324-ct.gov. That's dotproject34-324-ct.gov. And also, again, please feel free to call and leave a message on our call-in line, 860-944-1111. And if you do leave a message, please mention project 34-324 in your message. And if you would like a specific callback from someone with DOT or from the project team, please provide your contact information we do again appreciate everybody bearing with us through these difficulties this evening. We'll pause a moment or two here to see if we receive any additional feedback. And we do also encourage you to check out the project webpage. Again, that's available at https://portal.ct.gov/DOT Danbury 34-324. And again, we will make every effort to make this recording of tonight's presentation available in an expedited manner. For those of you who were unable to join us at the beginning here, again, we do apologize for the technical difficulties. And again, the department is committed to responding to any questions or feedback that we receive here at this time. All right, again, we'd like to thank you for your time this evening. We do apologize yet again for the technical difficulties we have experienced this evening, and we thank those of you who have participated for bearing with us and sticking with us through tonight's meeting. Please feel free to contact us at one of the means here on the page, either by email, voicemail. Please leave us your contact information and the best time and means of contacting you, and a member of the project team will get back to you in a timely manner. Again, thank you all for your participation this evening, and thank you again for bearing with us. Have a great evening, and we look forward to hearing from you on this project.